you guys think? Does he resemble a mighty dragon? When I looked up the name Kaiba in Japanese, when I first wanted to name him, because I was trying to convince my ex-partner that we needed to name him this, the definition, according to the translation that I got, was baby dragon, or little dragon. What do you think? Speaking of dragons, good morning, Magic players and card collectors of all kinds. Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully that won't glitch out the video of me plugging in the camera. Alright, adjusting. It is time to start off a banger of a weekend. Everybody knows what this weekend is for Magic. And I'm not going to delay or surprise you, because you know what I went out to get. I said on the channel earlier this week what I was aiming to get, and I scored. It is the Abzan Armor Tarkir Dragonstorm deck. I also got some Ember Sleeves, because, you know, dragon. So, I'm really excited for this deck. There are a few decks in this set that I actually am really interested in, but I'm not sure whether I'll be able to afford them. The zombie recursion deck looks really cool. I realize it's not super full of zombies, but you know what I mean. Like the recursion from the graveyard deck, the green, blue, black one, is really cool looking. And the Jeskai one seems like it could be a lot of fun to play too. But a Spellslinger deck that actually includes white could be really interesting to build. But yeah, I wanted to put out as much content as I possibly could about Dragonstorm for this weekend because everybody's doing it, and I wanted to get in on the hype as much as I could. Plus, I'm really excited for this set. Like, it's another old school set. It's basically the set that I'm most excited for since Bloomborough. So I'm going to hit this deck up. I am also going into the pre-release tonight, and I will make a video of my pre-release kit and explain how my deck was built and things like that tomorrow. And of course, we're going to get some packs and eventually do a new set versus old set with Dragons of Tarkir. I'm not telling you what the old set is yet that I've picked out, but I picked out a fun one, I think. It'll be a lot of entertainment for the competition. In the meantime, though, I'm going to dive into this, and yeah. I love these sideways open ones now. I like them a lot more than the original ones that we had before. Is there a quote? That'd be cool if there was a quote, but I think it got wrecked, unfortunately. No, it just says show, oh wait, yeah it does. Show true spirit of the Abzan. Nice. Too bad the glue kind of fucked that up. I wonder if it says it on the other side. It doesn't because we don't have the artwork on the other side. Alright. We've got our Dragonstorm Collector's Booster Pack, the 2-card one. We'll put that here for now. I picked out the Yu-Gi-Oh! Playmat because it had the best coloring, I think, for this. I know I don't have very many. Ooh, it actually slides out, and oh, I like that. That is really cool. That is actually really, really cool. It's the first time I've ever done that. And then they got the insert and the deck box behind. Nice. Let's do the deck box first. Ooh, nice artwork on the deck box. I know everybody likes to rag on these for being super cheap and crappy, but to be perfectly honest, the quality of these has actually impressed me. Like, even some of my older ones, like, just offhand, Witherbloom right here. Yeah, it's taken some damage for sure, don't get me wrong, but I mean, it still holds the deck well. There's nothing wrong with it. So, and you get some cool artwork. Case in point. Cool dragon. You got your colors. You got the other legendary on the back. It's pretty nice. Alright, let's see what this has. Playing the deck. Build up your walls and knock your opponents down with durable defense. Fellow Thor with stealth fast turns innocuous defenders and high toughness creatures into terrifying attackers. Combine her sacrifice ability with Rampart Architect to stack up your walled defenses while filling up your land row. Reanimate your graveyard with Reunion of the House. Ooh, cool. Perfectly combining with your low power creatures to display the true spirit of the Abzan. If you enlist Baator Ancestor's Voice, nice, we got him in this. As a commander, utilize life gain and life loss to buff your creatures and return them from your graveyard. Cool. We got some stuff here about commander rules and how it works. Ooh, nice. The artwork is really good. Maybe if I turn it sideways it'll fit in the image. No, not quite. Oh well. I don't like the way the light reflects off it, unfortunately. We got Felidor Steadfast is a loyal officer of the Dragon Lord Dromoka. Felithor never questioned her orders, but after becoming separated from her unit during a battle, Felithor encountered the wandering warrior spirit of Anafenza. Anafenza's knowledge of forbidden ancestral magic. Ancestral magic intrigued Felithor, kindling a fire of rebellion that led to completely reject Dromoka's doctrine. Branded as a traitor. Ooh, nice. I'm liking this lore. Against the Dragon Lord, she valiantly defended Dromoka and defeated Dromoka and subdued several ancestral maelstroms, solidifying her official promotion to Khan by the newly reformed Abzan. Nice. When Baator was summoned from the Storm Nexus ritual, the lost and drifting spirits of the Abzan coalesced into their being. They are a manifestation of loyalty, endurance, and the desire for independence. I love the lore of this deck. I'm really loving the lore of this deck. Baator speaks as a collective we and operates a combined consciousness of Abzan past and present, leading many in the Abzan to seek out Balor for guidance. Their primary role in the clan is serving as link between the dead and the living, a medium for ancestral. Oh man, this is so cool. This is much cooler than I even realized. If you're curious, the original reason I was so hyped for this deck specifically over all the other decks is because I'm really, really into the mechanic of Defender. I just don't have enough cards to build a proper deck. I eventually want to build actually a red, white, blue wall deck. I have the commander already set aside in my many, many boxes of legendary creatures, but I don't have enough actual walls to build a proper deck yet. But I've always just been like a huge fan of Defenders. I played Defense when I played soccer as a child. My favorite character from Beyblade was Max. I always enjoyed in Yu-Gi-Oh! My favorite creatures were the ones with the flip effects because they had the bonuses to protect themselves when you put them face down. I just love Defense. Defense is kind of my jam. That's how I play. That's why it's another reason why I'm just so opposed to goading, because goading just forces attacks where I'm just not that kind of person. I'll attack when I'm ready to attack, but I don't like to be told when to attack. And this deck is really cool because it's designed around making big, big butts that you cannot lie, and then smacking them around with your thighs. Smacking people around with your thighs. Oh, man. Okay. So Felithor the Steadfast. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Creatures you control can attack as though they didn't have Defender. And you can pay 3, tap this, sacrifice another creature, draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's toughness, then discard creature cards equal to its power. So it's a great way to filter through your deck. It lets you give all your creatures that have Defender the right to attack, and it does the whole toughness over power thing, which I've always thought was a really fun mechanic. Baator, Ancestor's Voice, our other commander potential card, is a flying lifelink 3/5. At the beginning of your end step, you put a number of +1/+1 counters on up to one target creature you control equal to the amount of life you gained, and then return up to one target creature with mana value less than or equal to the amount of life you lost from your graveyard to the battlefield. Nice. Spirit, by the way. I'm still working on my Spirits deck, but that kind of got sidelined briefly because I recently pulled or got my hands on a Spin the Fang board, and I was super stoked to build a touch deck. I didn't realize that Death Touch in green was such a popular thing until somebody pointed it out to me like a week after I started working on the deck. Very disappointing, to be perfectly honest, but I'm still going to build the deck because it's a lot of fun. I love Death Touch, and poisoning people to death is kind of fun too. Protector of the Wastes. 4 and 2 white, flying. When this creature enters or becomes monstrous, exile up to 2 artifacts and or enchantments controlled by different players. Ooh. Costs 5 to get Monstrosity 3, but still, solid card. Reunion of the House. Return any number of target creatures with total power 10 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Nice. Works perfect in a deck where you don't have a lot of power. Jaws of Defeat. Whenever a creature you control enters, target opponent loses life equal to the difference between that creature's power and its toughness. Huh. Excuse me. I'm not sure if that means that you're subtracting the toughness from the power or the power from the toughness. I'll have to check the ruling on that later. If it works the right way, that's an amazing card. If it works the wrong way, that kind of sucks. Sacrifice a creature. When you do, all creatures get -X/-X until end of turn, where X is the sacrifice creature's toughness. Ooh, that's a solid one. I like that. Will of the Abzan. Choose one. If you control a commander, as you cast a spell, you can choose to do both instead. Any number of target opponents each sacrifice a creature with the greatest power among creatures that player controls and loses 3 life. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Nice. Oh, I hope those were all on the screen so far. The artworks on these are amazing. Arbor Adherent. Add 1 mana of any color. Add X mana of any one color where X is the greatest toughness. Nice. Among other creatures you control, but still nice. Canopy Gargantuan. Flying Ward 2. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a number of +1/+1 counters on each other creature you control with equal to that creature's toughness. Cool. What's wrong, Kaiba? I may have to take a small break and go help the dog. What's wrong with you? You got it? You got it. He's playing with his treat. He's so cute. Elephants. I always love elephants. They're my favorite animal on the planet in real life. Like, I love elephants. They're my absolute favorite animal. Eventually I want to build an elephants deck. That will be a lot of fun to construct. I just don't know what colors to use for that. Whenever this creature enters or attacks, create a 1/3 white wall creature token with Defender. Nice. Whenever a creature you control with Defender dies, you can search your library for a basic land card. Ooh. That's really cool. Tree of Redemption. Defender, tap, exchange your life total with this creature's toughness. Oh my gosh. That thing's going to help you a lot in the late game. Akira Shidiki the Usurper. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. Nice, and it has partner. 3/7. Cool. Baladin, Century Herdmaster. During your turn, each creature assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Good. Whenever it attacks up to 100 target creatures, each get +0/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your hand. Okay, so whenever this attacks, I can pick up to 100 target creatures and give them all +4 if there's 4 cards in my hand. That's insane. Expel the interlopers. Choose any number between 0 and 10. Destroy all creatures of power greater than or equal to the chosen number. Nice. Indomitable Ancients. Just a really big tree. But I like it. Ooh, flavor text. Odom and Broadbark were the only beings mighty enough to challenge the giant Moran the Destroyer. Their battle lasted 100 dawns until Moran became so exhausted that he fell into name sleep. He awoke as Moran the Gardener. The Tale of Odom and Broadbark. Cool. I can't get these cards to stay up. It's too much of a slant today on my bed. Rocks the Face Mender. I gotta get going, or this is gonna end up being two videos again. If you gain life, you gain twice that much life. Nice. That's a solid card. Shalai, Voice of Plenty. I love this card. I only have one copy of it. It's in my enchantment deck, though, and it is insane. Wickstone Gargoyle. Defender. Flying creatures you control with Defender can attack this turn as though they didn't have Defender. Nice. Defender Flying. At the beginning of your end step, you may gain life equal to the power of target creature you control. Ooh, cool. Welcoming Vampire. Whenever one or more other creatures you control with power 2 or less enter, draw a card. Nice. Zatalpa Primal Dawn. Flying, Double Strike, Vigilance, Trample, Indestructible for a 4/8. Holy crap. Arasta the Endless Web. Reach. Whenever an opponent casts an instant or sorcery spell, you get to create a green spider creature token with reach that has 1/2. Huh. Assault Formation. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Common theme of this deck. Target creature with Defender can attack as though it didn't have Defender. Nice. Creatures you control get +0/+1 until end of turn. Solid enchantment. Very, has a lot of utility. Hornet's Nest is an awesome card. I love this card. Oh my gosh, this thing came with a Seaboard Muse? This deck is insane! I had no idea this deck came with a Seaboard Muse. I didn't look up the deck list beforehand because I didn't want any spoilers. I just looked up like the 2 commander cards, and like I say, I got enough of the theme from various sources that this was going to be a huge Defender deck, and I was like, that is a deck I have to have. Defender, Hexproof, and a Mana Dork for 2. Towering Titan. This creature enters with X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the total toughness of other creatures. And then you can sacrifice a creature with Defender and all creatures gain... Oh my god! Oh my god. This deck is incredible. This is definitely one of those precons I'm not going to mess with at all. I'm debating still messing around with the last precon I debuted on the channel. Which one was it? Or not the last one, the one before that. The zombie one from Aether Drift. I'm still debating whether I want to tweak that one or leave it as is. But this deck, I don't think I'm going to touch this deck at all. This deck is like perfect, just the way it's been built. You even get Furrow-built Burrow. Like, that's crazy. So I get a triple Mana Dork. Assuming you control all 3 colors. Shadrick's Silver Quill. Flying double strike. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may choose 2. Each mode must target a different player, though. Target player creates a 2/1 white and black inkling creature token with flying. Target player draws a card and loses a life. Target player puts a +1/+1 counter on each creature. Wowee. Sidar Kondo of Jamura. I apologize for mispronouncing that, probably. Flanking. Ooh, first creature I've ever gone with flanking. Whenever a creature without flanking blocks this creature, the blocking creature gets -1/-1 until... Cool! Creatures your opponents control without flying or reach can't block creatures you control with power 2 or less. Oh, wow. And this one has partner, so it can go with... I think there was one back here that had partner. Wasn't it a black and... Yeah, black and green one. So you could actually build this deck out of those two as commanders as well. It would be a really weird deck, but it's doable. So there's a third partner, or third set of commanders that you could play for this deck, which is really nice. It gives you a lot of versatility in how you want to play this deck. Calfrener's Urn. Whenever a creature with toughness 4 or greater is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, you can exile it. At the beginning of the X step, if 3 or more cards have been exiled with this thing, you can sacrifice it. If you do, return those cards to the battlefield under your control. Wow. Oh, you have to sacrifice it. You don't have a choice. Yeah, okay. But still, you get 3 cards back. Staff of Completion. Pay 1 life, destroy target permanent you own. Pay 2 life, add 1 mana of any color. Pay 3 life, proliferate. Pay 4 life, draw a card. Pay 5 mana, and you can untap this to use it again. Wow. Weathered Sentinels. Defender, Vigilance, Reach, Trample. 2/5. This creature can attack players who attacked you during their last turn as though it didn't have Defender. And when it attacks, it gets +3/+3 and gains Indestructible. Okay, because it needed more keywords. Canopy Vista, Exotic Orchard, Fortified Village. Ooh, Isolated Chapel. I like the artwork on that one. That one's pretty. Overgrown Farmlands, nice too. Sungrass Prairie, Sun Petal Grove, Temple of Malady, Temple of Plenty, Temple of Silence, Twilight Mire. Ooh, I like that one. Woodland Cemetery. The Arcane Sing is pretty in this deck. Sol Ring is too. And the Command Tower. Alright, now we're getting into some of the cards I might replace if I were going to fix this. At the beginning of your upkeep, you gain 1 life. That is a good card, don't get me wrong, and it's 0/5, so you can attack with its toughness if you got the right card out. Slaughter the Strong. Each player chooses any number of creatures they control with total power 4 or less, then sacrifices all their creatures they control. Huh. That's a pretty good one. Swords of Plowshares, Wall of Omens. When this creature enters, draw a card. Nice. Wingmantle Captain. When this creature enters, create a 1/1 white bird creature token with flying for each creature with Defender. Ooh. Whenever another creature with Defender enters, you get to create another bird token. Nice. Creatures you control have Skulk. Skulk. They can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. That's hilarious. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Light Pile, Defender. Pay 2 and a black. Each opponent loses X life, where X is the number of creatures. This deck is crazy. This deck is absolutely crazy. Feed the Swarm. I love that. One of my favorite sorcery cards in the game. Because I like things where the cost really feels like a cost. I don't know why. I'm just weird like that. Wall of Limbs. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Sacrifice this creature. Target player loses X life, where X is this creature's power. Huh. A Boreal Grazer. Reach. When this creature enters, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. Nice. So you get that out in your first turn, and then you get an extra land onto the field. Cool. Defender. Tap, add X mana in any combination of colors where X is the number of creatures you control with Defender. Defender, when this creature enters, draw a card. Evolving Wilds. Jedi Offshoot. Whenever a land you control enters, you gain a life. Nice. Overgrown Battlement. You get green for each creature you control with Defender. There's a lot of ways to generate mana in this deck. That's insane. Ooh, I like the Sandsheep Citadel. Artworks on that. That's pretty good. Tower Defense. Creatures you control get +0/+5 and gain reach until end of turn. Sure. Wall of Blossoms. When this creature enters, draw a card. Wall of Roots. Put a -0/-1 counter on this creature. Add green. You can do that once each turn. I don't know if that's a thing you have to do, though. I think that's optional. If you choose to put the +1 or -0/-1 counter on it, then you get the green. Probably won't be doing that. Despark. Nice. Indulging Patrician, sorry. This is a new one for me. Flying Lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, each opponent... Ooh. I need to get that for my vampire deck. Crashing Drawbridge. Defender. Creatures you control with gain haste until end of turn. Nice. Orzhov Signet. Selesnya Signet. Swiftfoot Boots. Always good to have. Walking Bulwark. Defender, pay 2 until end of turn. Target creature with Defender gains haste, can attack as though it didn't have Defender, and assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Reasonable for 2. Target creature with power 3 or less can't be blocked this turn. I need this for that other deck I'm building. I couldn't get a hold of one. Ooh, and a Bajuka Bog, too. Deceptive Landscape. Sacrifice this land, search your library for a basic plains, swamp, or forest, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Nice. Path of Ancestry. I'm really not super fond of Path of Ancestry being constantly included in decks these days. I get that you get the mana color regardless from your commander, which is nice, but there's so many decks that just don't have the tribal function for the scry. I just find it such a waste of a card. I don't know what I would put in its place, but it frustrates me that there's, like, unless it's a very tribe-specific deck, it really doesn't feel like it's useful. And now we're just into the lands. Nice. We got our wall token, spider token, inkling token, insect token, bird token, inkling token, wall token, insect token, spider token, bird token, wall token, spider token. Okay, I like this. These are actually probably the most useful tokens I've ever seen in a deck. Because there's so many, and there's enough variety of which ones are with which pairing that you can actually use them all in this deck and not be worried about running out, which is cool. Because I'm always struggling with that when you get a new commander deck and you end up having to find a whole bunch of extra tokens that you need to add to the commander deck because you know that both sides of the token are useful to you, and unfortunately you won't be able to use both. So, quickly before I open this, and we finish out the video, I just wanted to talk about pre-release. As I said, I bought already my ticket to go to pre-release tonight. I didn't get to pick a kit yet. We're going to pick those as a first come, first serve according to the store owner when we get there tonight. My goal is to, of course, get either Abzan or get Jeskai. Both those look really good. Or no, sorry, not Jeskai, Mardu. Mardu is really, really cool because of the soldier token mechanic. My vampire deck is actually really weird because I've never gotten Edgar Markov yet. Hopefully we'll get one through our new set versus old set that we're doing right now. But I've never pulled an Edgar Markov. So as long as I don't have one, my commander for my vampire deck is Marchesa, the black... No, not the Black Rose. Queen Marchesa, the assassin one that creates assassins with Death Touch. So it's kind of like a life gain, life loss deck, but it's also a very tokens based deck. And so if I can get the Mardu kit, I will definitely upgrade that deck probably. If I get the Abzan deck, I'm going to try and see if there's anything I can fit into this, but honestly, I think this deck is pretty perfectly built. I can't wait to test it out. So those are my plans. Jeskai is my third pick. I can always do something with the spell casting, and like I said, I'm building a Jeskai wall deck anyways, so we'll open this up now though, and we will try and do it with some speed so that we can turn it into a short later. Alright, we got that. These are the Tarkir Dragonstorm Collector Booster Sample Pack cards. We got... Ooh, Rediscover the Way. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand, and the rest on your library in any order. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell this turn, target creature you control gains double strike until end of turn. Ooh, I like that a lot. And I love the artwork. And... Digger Island Dragon! Tap 1 target creature, draw a card, Flying Ward 2. I like this a lot because the Omen ability is really cool. You can keep putting it into your deck and replaying it over and over again, which is awesome. I've definitely pulled way crazier cards out of these collectors' sample packs before, but I'm pretty happy with these ones. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my Abzan armor deck presentation. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you're just seeing the short, please tune into the video. And with that, I'm going to close it out. So, tune into my pre-release video later in the weekend, and much love to you all from me. You take care. Bye!